How to find the right mentor. Welcome to Ben's Business Podcast, episode number 12. And in this podcast, I'm going to be answering the question which came from Derek from Ben's Business Book Club. He asked the question of how do you go about finding the right mentor? Because I was talking about how mentors have guided me in the right directions throughout my business life and career. And the first step to finding the right mentor is make sure that you find someone who is aligned with your goals, the goals that you want. So they are in the position where you want to be. So if it's financial, if it's a financial goal, then it's a millionaire you want to be, then you find a millionaire and you ask if they can become your mentor, or you don't ask, but you try to find someone who is already in that position you want to be in, and try to ask the questions, try to get involved with them, try to be around them. You don't just have to go and approach them and ask. And the same again, if it's more happiness that you want, find someone that's happy, mimic them or get around them and ask them for help. Ask lots of questions to these people that are in the position you want to be in. So, for example, I use mentors. Mentors are my books, but they're also people that I come across daily in my business life. I think the fact that I've went into web design is just really an ideal situation for me, because I actually work with partners, with clients who become almost mentors to me, and I've had a lot of mentors throughout the day, throughout the years. And I think people kind of say, how do I find a mentor? And rather than using the word mentors. And I've got lots of mentors. I've got my dad, I've got my clients again, and people I've just come across who ask questions, people in my family that have helped me, friends. And you can find mentors everywhere if you're curious enough. So basically, find someone that's aligned with you, with your goals, where you want to be 10 years ahead of you, and get around them. If they're rich, then that's what you want, then get around them. If they're rich but you want to be happy, then it's not the right mentor. If you want to be happy, you find even go to the books and read Lao Tzu from the Taoism, and he's got a book that's great for happiness. I would say it's about what causes unhappiness and the ways to avoid that. The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle, great mentor for happiness. And just people who have a smile on their face, or if you want to be wealthy, then look for people who are wealthy and find them as your mentors. But there's a big but there. They could have a smile on their face all day, but they might be seriously unhappy. It might just be a mask. Same with someone who looks wealthy. They've got a nice car, they wear nice clothes, they flash their cash, but they're in heaps of debt. So be careful with that mentor, because this is about finding the right mentor, not just any mentor. So find someone who's actually in profit, who's got a thriving business, who's got lots of money, if you want to have lots of money, and someone who's actually happy. So what does their life really look like? What do their personal life look like? You need to get really close to these people to figure this out, and people aren't very open about these things, so you need to get close and you need to figure out what it is, and you need to make the decision and be very picky of who you decide to listen to. And I'm very careful of that. I'm very picky of who I listen to, but I do try to listen to everyone, but there's some terrible advice out there. I must admit, there's bad advice out there. Web design, as I said, is basically step 2 is find a way. I found a way through starting a web design company that was actually a way to get around mentors. Little did I know that I was doing that. Same podcast, I actually asked one of my guests on Ben's Business Podcast, how do you learn? And that was actually his advice, is journalism or podcasts, and get guests. So you reach up to the people above you that you want to learn from and get them on your show, and you actually get face to face with them sometimes, and you get like 3 hours of a mentor in that situation. So a mentor can be someone who's came into your life for 3 hours and giving you some of the best advice that you wouldn't get in the rest of your lifetime. And that's what I look at as what a mentor is to me. So start a podcast, start a company that you can go and serve these people that you want to be around. So work to learn, as Robert Kiyosaki said in his book Rich Dad Poor Dad. Don't work for money, work to learn, especially when you're young, or especially when you're just beginning. You've got mainly when you're young. I know this is bad news for when you're older, whatever older is. I'm approaching 30, as I said in a video before, and I have to now start thinking about, like, no, I'm not just working to learn anymore. I'm really needing to work to earn as well. But it's getting that balance. You need to work to learn and earn. Especially if you're young, work to learn as much as possible. Don't worry about the money at the beginning. That's a very big lesson I learned out of that book, Rich Dad Poor Dad. Work to learn. Step 3 is just be curious. There was a quote that I came across. I'd never heard it before. It was quite a secret one. That I was actually doing this programming on a thing called TourDash, which is these trusted photographer Google business views where they can go off of the street view into the business. I was doing a wee bit of programming on that. I was going about a university in the street view thing, and inside that, up in a back room, up in the top corner, I was being curious, and the quote said, "Be curious always, for knowledge will not acquire you, you must acquire it." And that's the main point there, is for finding mentors, be curious, because if you are curious enough, you will never be short of a mentor. You'll always have a mentor, and realise that 3 hours with someone who gave you great advice, they were your mentor. And I call everyone that I come across who guides me in some sort of way my mentor. And so use the world as your mentor. Books are there for you. They put the advice, they've laid it on the table, it's there for you. Use it. The advice is there. You be resourceful, basically, is what I'm saying. So you'll always have a mentor if you're curious enough. I hope that helps. That's how to find the right mentor. Thank you.